Hello, Caleb Wright here, and today I just want to take a moment to talk with you all about 5 reasons why that your bank is an unsafe place to store your money long term. So we have the first reason, and that's the Cyprus, Greece bank theft. So what you have is in 2013, the central banking system of Greece basically became insolvent. They went to the European Union, asked for a bailout. The European Union refused, and basically said that they had to deal with this problem themselves. And so then the banks of Greece imposed a citizen, account holder, taxpayer bailout, basically, where they set a date where that they would take basically 40% of everybody's funds in their accounts. No questions asked. No choice whether you can participate or not. And that's the only solution for Greece to keep going economically. So basically, anybody who had been a saver in Greece lost out. Okay? So then we have reason number 2, fractional reserve banking. And with fractional reserve banking, what that means is that your bank basically doesn't have all the money. All right? So all the money you have in your bank account, say you have $20,000, $30,000 in your account, say you have $100,000, say you have $1 million, whatever you have. If you want to go get all that as cash right now, you can't get that at your bank. They will not be able to give that to you. It's all cash. In fact, if you're pulling out more than $10,000, they're going to report you to the government. Because that's actually one of my next reasons, is the regulations, limits, and reporting. Okay? But fractional reserve banking, that's basically a practice of the banks that allows them to lend out about 9 times as much money as that they have on their actual account balances. So for each $1 that you put in the bank, they can lend out $9. So the banks are in the business of creating debt with your money. All right? And you aren't really making any money there. So that brings us to our next reason that the banks are unsafe, is quantitative easing. That's a practice by our Federal Reserve and in many central bank systems around the world that run with fiat currencies like the US dollar, and US dollar being the biggest one of them all, not backed by anything except for the trust of the taxpayers in the country and in the world to use the currency. But basically, the Federal Reserve has the ability to print as much of this money into existence as that they need to in order to keep the banks liquid and in order to run the U.S. government and run their policies. So with that, the taxpayer basically ends up at the short end of the stick, because quantitative easing, creating more money into the supply, it's a simple supply and demand concept, but what happens when that's done is that the value of those dollars goes down over time. So that's what we call inflation. So quantitative easing causes inflation, where the same amount of money that you had in the bank before now purchases less goods. Okay? So that's another reason why keeping your savings in the bank is unsafe, but also a reason why a combination of the bank is unsafe and the dollar is unsafe in order to store your savings in the long term, because you're going to end up losing. It's not safe like assets, things that will always have their value, things like gold and silver, things like cryptocurrency, things like real estate, all right, things like your certain stock market investments. Okay? But I'm not giving investment advice, I'm just talking, providing information. So the next we have the fourth reason, which is the regulations and limits. Okay? Is your money really your money? Because they have a lot of controls on it. They have limits of how much that you can withdraw within a certain amount of time. They have your bank basically spying on you, because they have to report on you if you're going to move around more than $10,000, or if you move even just $10,000 around at a time, withdraw it or deposit it. They want to know about that. And if you try to avoid that by doing a bunch of transactions that are under $10,000, the banks are also required to report you on that. So it's not a lot of actual privacy with how you get to use your money when you're using a bank, which is very interesting. Of course, a lot of these rules are for reporting requirements for taxes, and that's fair enough, right? But still, it's very restrictive. And they also restrict how many international bank wires you can do. And it's cost prohibitive to move your money around with things like wires and international bank wires. So, is your money really your money? Can you use it the way that you want to? Can you transfer it to anyone in the world instantly without it costing an arm and a leg? No, you can't. Okay? So, then last of all, this is one of the biggest reasons why that your banks are unsafe, but it's been publicly stated by the IMF and the United States government that bank bail-ins are a good strategy moving forward. That basically what happened in Greece was a good solution. So basically what that tells you is that when the next countries become, in their central banking systems, become insolvent, that they're going to do a bank bail-in. And the taxpayers are going to foot the cost of keeping the banking system going and keeping their country going. So what that shows you is that basically, and especially if you're in the U.S., you're not immune to this. This is the road that we're going down. So you can either keep saving in dollars, or you can start making prudent moves with your money and diversifying outside of the dollar into assets, different ways you can put your money to work, into cryptocurrency, for example, something that gives you the ability to move your money around instantly, globally, feelessly. It's time to be making moves to protect yourself from the coming dangers of the impending demise of the financial system and central banking system. The changing of the guard of the world reserve currency from the U.S. dollar to, well, whatever country issues it next. Might be China. But I just wanted to give you these top 5 reasons why the banking system is unsafe for saving your money in the long term. Maybe so that you can, I just wanted to raise your awareness and raise as many people's awareness as possible so that they can take some solid moves towards protecting themselves from these financial dangers. And so with that, I recommend you take a look at what we're doing with cryptocurrency, because this is a really solid way in order to store your money outside of the banking system and protect yourself from these dangers that are coming. I mean, for example, all these people in Greece, any of them that had their money in Bitcoin when their money was taken away from their banks, they didn't lose any of their Bitcoins. Their Bitcoin value didn't go down. Sorry if I'm shaking the phone a little bit out here. It's actually a little bit cold, so my hands are a little bit shaky here, all right? But with that said, you can find a link either underneath this video, and you can go to www.digitalcurrencyfuture.com, and you can opt in with your email there to gain access to more information about what we're doing with a new second-generation cryptocurrency that's going to be the next Bitcoin. All right, something that you definitely want to learn about, because it's an opportunity for you to leverage some incredible wealth in this new in this evolution of the money system that we're going through right now, in the early stages of from fiat currencies to digital currencies. I mean, we're already part way in it with the U.S. dollar, because most of us use credit cards at this point and debit cards anyways. Not a lot of us are paying in cash. And interesting news announcement that actually just came out today is that Sweden is actually moving to a completely cashless society. Everybody's using credit and debit cards there. And next thing you know, they're going to be probably making their currency digital. Maybe they'll, and probably use of Bitcoins become quite, it's already commonplace there, but will probably become even more commonplace. So anyways, check out the link under the video. If you check out my blog post, I'll have a link at the end of the blog post where you can look into some more information about how you can start profiting with cryptocurrency today. And feel free to also use the contact information underneath this video in order to, or my blog post, in order to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you about cryptocurrency and explain to you how that you can get going with mining and accumulating cryptocurrency and setting yourself up to be protected from these financial dangers that we've been talking about. So, Caleb right here with the top 5 reasons why that your bank is unsafe. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you found value here, please like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment underneath, and give me some feedback about this video. All right? Bye now.